1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is on a 2-day pilgrimage in Tirupati. Over 100,000 booster doses administered under the Sri Lanka COVID immunization program yesterday. Sri Lanka says it will continue to engage steadfast with the UN but opposes excessive interference into the internal affairs of the country. The Minister of Agriculture assures that there will be no food shortage in the country next year. The civil society expresses their views for one country, one law. Loves Gas to release around 200 tons of gas to the local market in the next 2 days. The main midnight Christmas Mass to be held at St. Sebastian Church at Katuapitiya. International news, the US President signs law banning goods made in China's Xinjiang province. Sports, cricket, Sri Lanka under-19s victorious in Asia Cup opener. News in detail now. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa left for India on a 2-day pilgrimage to the temple city of Tirupati on Thursday. The Premier was accorded a warm welcome by the officials of the Chittoor district administration. Accompanied by his family members, Mahinda Rajapaksa will offer prayers at the Tirumala temple today. The epidemiology unit says the daily count of COVID-19 cases confirmed in Sri Lanka moved to 554 yesterday as 82 more people were tested positive for the virus. This brings the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country to 582,149. As many as 558,527 recoveries and 14,832 deaths have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 8,700 active cases in total are currently under medical care. The death toll in the country due to the virus pandemic stands at 14,832. Meanwhile, another 116,992 doses of booster vaccines were administered yesterday under the Sri Lanka COVID immunization program. Accordingly, the epidemiology unit stated that 3,141,341 persons have been administered the booster shot so far. Sri Lanka says it will continue to engage purposefully and cordially with the United Nations but opposes excessive interference into the internal affairs of the country. The Foreign Minister, Professor G.L. Piris, objected to the setting of a special mechanism by the UN, whose sole purpose, he says, was to collect data to use against Sri Lanka. He stated that there was no way of knowing that the data was and therefore had no opportunity to test the truth in these allegations. Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Piris expressed these views when he met the newly appointed envoys representing 17 countries at the Foreign Ministry. The chairman of the Presidential Task Force for One Country, One Law, Venerable Galgodatte Gnanaswara Thera, said that a large number of civil society organizations and individuals are joining with the task force to express their views on the concept. The office established at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall is open to the public from December 20th to the 23rd to submit their opinions. The Thera further said people visiting the office, irrespective of race, religion or provincial differences, were particularly keen on the new concept of one country, one law. Furthermore, the Thera added that the office is open to all those who wish to express their views personally and in the organizational level, and that he and his team is committed to collect all such views at any time. The chairman of Loves Gas, K.M. Vagapitiya, said today that around 100 to 200 tons of Loves Gas will be released to the local market in the next 2 days. According to the chairman, Loves Gas, close to 30,000 tons of gas imported to the country had reached the Hambantota port and the process of filling gas cylinders is currently ongoing at the gas terminal and filling plant at the Hambantota port. He further noted that another shipment of 10,000 tons of gas is scheduled to reach the island by the 5th of January. The Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, will celebrate the midnight mass at St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapitiya. The service will begin at 11:45 p.m. tonight. All religious services will be broadcast live on various television channels. The Secretary to the Ministry of Transport has allocated discussion with the Railway Station Masters Association, who had withdrawn from their duties of issuing ordinary tickets for trains. The Station Masters Association stated that they will participate in the discussion to be held at the Ministry of Transport this morning. The union has been on strike since midnight yesterday, citing train ticketing issues, promotion issues and signal system issues. The trade union action to withdraw from parcel accepting duties previously launched by the Station Masters Association is still in effect. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka's Government Medical Officers Association says the final decision regarding the ongoing strike action will be made following a meeting with the GMOA Central Committee. GMOA spokesperson Dr. Samantha Ananda says the Central Committee of the Government Medical Officers Association will convene this morning. The island-wide strike launched over several demands, including the transfer of doctors without the approval of the transfer board, reached its fourth consecutive day. Patients have been severely inconvenienced due to the strike action, as hospital operations across the island remain disrupted due to the strike action. The National Movement for a Just Society chairman, former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, said there's a strong need for a new constitution that suits the country and unites different communities. He was speaking to the media after attending a religious ceremony at the Balagola Dharmayatane temple in Kandy recently. The former speaker said the National Movement for a Just Society is committed to creating religious, social and political unity in the country, as well as a constitution that suits the country. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mahindananda Alutgamge, has assured that there would not be a food shortage in the country next year. He says certain statements warning about a looming food shortage cannot be accepted, as 90 to 95% of paddy fields in each district have already been cultivated by now. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the Nuwara Municipal Council's Boat Services Association alleges that they have been severely inconvenienced by the Nuwara Municipal Council's decision to drain the Lake Gregory in order to build a walking lane. They allege that Gregory's Lake in Nuwara is now overflowing with tourists due to the Christmas season, making it impossible for them to make a living due to the removal of water. The Nuwara Municipal Council had emptied the tank on 22nd of December. However, the Boat Services Association alleges that the Nuwara Municipal Council could have carried out the relevant repairs at a later date without affecting the services during the Christmas season. And that was Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janajaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB beers during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
In the headlines, the U.S. President signs law banning goods made in China's Xinjiang province. South Korea's ex-president granted government pardon. The Queen's Christmas message expected to be personal. World news in detail now. Amid worsening relations between Beijing and Washington, President Joe Biden signed a new law on Thursday banning products made in China's Xinjiang province because of China's oppression of its largely Muslim Uyghur minority population. United Nations experts and rights groups have estimated that more than 1 million people, mainly Uyghurs and members of other Muslim minorities, have been imprisoned in recent years in a vast system of camps in Xinjiang. The US and many rights groups have called it genocide. South Korean President Moon Jae-in has pardoned former President Park Geun-hye, who was serving a 22-year prison term for a vast corruption scandal. The 69-year-old was convicted of abuse of power and coercion in 2018 after she was impeached the previous year. She was her country's first democratically elected leader to be forced from office. Park has been hospitalized 3 times this year due to chronic shoulder and lower back pain. The Queen is expected to give a very personal Christmas message this year in her first Christmas since the death of her husband, Prince Philip. The annual broadcast was recorded last week before the Queen's decision to stay in Windsor Castle because of concerns about the pandemic. There aren't any Christmas Day public appearances expected from the Queen. The traditional Christmas Day message to be screened at 15 hours GMT tomorrow is an address to the nation and the Commonwealth reflecting on the passing year. Back to the headlines of the world news. The US President signs law banning goods made in China's Xinjiang province. South Korea's ex-president granted government pardon. The Queen's Christmas message expected to be personal. And that ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
Christmas and New Year sales with CIB Janujaya Vasana has commenced. Valuable prizes and vouchers for CIB beers during the entire month of December. 20% discount will be given for bank cards and for gift vouchers. Visit CIB today as well.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
TPS Ceramic Industries Private Limited, the recent most entity to join Sri Lanka's largest ultra-modern sanitaryware and ceramic trading company and distributor, Puakkanaba Group of Companies, will create history with the laying of the foundation stone of a state-of-the-art ceramic manufacturing plant on 16th of December 2021 in Badralia. Located in the PGC factory complex situated in a picturesque corner of the cultural district, the ambitious project is estimated to cost 4 billion rupees and is slated to create over 400 direct job opportunities. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
Cricket news. Sri Lanka under-19s kick-started the Junior Asia Cup cricket tournament with a crushing 274-run win against Kuwait. Lankan skipper Dunith Wellalage won the toss and opted to bat first in Sharjah, and the Lion Cubs posted an impressive 323 for the loss of 5 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. In reply, the Kuwaitis were bowled out for a paltry 49 runs. Pawan Patiraja bagged the man of the match award for his brilliant knock of 86 not out. Sri Lanka will play Nepal in their next encounter on Boxing Day. In other cricket news, having won the opening 2 tests of the 5 matches series in Brisbane and Adelaide, England must win the final 3 matches starting in Melbourne on Sunday to regain the Ashes. Meanwhile, Australia coach Justin Langer has suggested Josh Hazlewood will again miss out with a minor side strain. Captain Pat Cummins should return for the third test, and Victoria's Scott Boland has been added to the squad. And that was sports news.
For all foreign currencies remitted through NSB based on the US dollar value, 10 rupees more per dollar, plus more gifts until 31st December 2021. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Iran's Trade Promotion Organization stated Sri Lanka will export tea to Iran every month to settle a $251 million debt. The Sri Lankan government had announced earlier that it had reached a deal with Iran to settle an outstanding debt by exporting tea to the value. The barter deal will allow sanctions hit Iran to avoid having to use up scarce hard currency to pay for imports of the widely consumed staple. The Minister of Plantation of Sri Lanka and the Minister of Industries, Mines and Trade of the Islamic Republic of Iran agreed to formulate the scheme. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
In economic news, the Colombo Stock Exchange announced that it is revising the index calculation methodology of the all-share price index. The ASPI will be revised from full market capitalization, weighting to free float adjusted market capitalization, weighting as notified to the market on the 16th of November 2021. The index methodology has been published on the CSE's website. The implementation of the said revision is scheduled to take place on the 24th of January 2022 with effect from market closure on the 21st of January 2022. And that was economic news.
The Weather Report.
The Meteorological Department forecasts mainly fair weather to prevail over most parts of the island. There's a possibility of ground frost in some places in the Nuwara district at the early hours of the morning. Slightly cold weather in the night and early morning is expected over most parts of the island during the next few days. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, north central and Uwa provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is on a 2-day pilgrimage in Tirupati. Over 100,000 booster doses administered under the Sri Lanka COVID immunization program yesterday. Sri Lanka says it will continue to engage steadfast with the UN but opposes excessive interference into the internal affairs of the country. The Minister of Agriculture assures that there will be no food shortage in the country next year. The civil society expresses their views for one country, one law. Loves Gas to release around 200 tons of gas to the local market in the next 2 days. The main midnight Christmas Mass to be held at St. Sebastian Church at Katuapitia. International news, the US President signs law banning goods made in China's Xinjiang province. And in sports, it's cricket, Sri Lanka's under-19s victorious in Asia Cup opener. And with that, we end this news broadcast. And back to Sharifa to keep you entertained with some lunchtime music. And thereafter, your favorite program, Your Choice. Over to you, Sharifa.